Yo, what's good, guys? Happy to have you here. So yeah, this is going to be a very in-depth video where, I'm going to go a lot more in-depth than my, usual Instagram or TikTok reels to show you exactly what I did to specify my time and structure my routine very specifically when I was in high school, and now how I'm helping my students do the same. Before I dive straight into it, I was thinking to myself, hey, maybe I should make this a bit more engaging, add some B-rolls, add some extra footage, add some pictures here and there. But, one, I'll be honest, I'm hella lazy. I got hella shit to do. So I just wanted to get this stuff out there because I know majority of you guys right now are in a trials period. So I want to help you guys as fast as possible. And I also think that if you can't sit through a 10-minute video, like, you don't even deserve to have a good ATAR. That's the reality of it, right? So yeah, guys, I'm gonna dive straight into it, but I'm gonna highly encourage you guys to have a pen and a paper right next to you so you can be jotting down some notes of stuff that you can implement straight away. Obviously, I think all of this is very useful, but I am aware that every student studies differently and everyone has their own personal style. Because truth is, right, the sooner you get this technique down, no matter whether you're in year 11, year 12, year 7 even, right? The sooner you get this down, the bigger the advantage you will have against the rest of your cohort, right? Okay, just so you know, I'm not some kind of bot. This is my HSC results, right? So I got an ATAR of 97.55. Again, if you've been watching me on Instagram and TikTok, you will know that I honestly didn't put that much effort in, like nothing crazy. Like I think after a average school day, I'd probably do like 1 to 2 hours study. And I'm being dead ass here. So here, that's my results, and this is my band sixes. Obviously, English, man, like I am ass at English. Honestly, with English, this is a very side note. I'm gonna go on a tangent right now, but I was like bottom 10. I was like ranked 140th for my grade. So getting a result like this for English is already a very big feat for me. So I'm very happy that I got this. I do have some personal techniques where I did use to kind of, almost cheat the system, but I won't be revealing that today. Okay, sweet. So this video is for you if you, right, if this is how you study. If you decide on what that you need to do on the day or the day before, that is way too late, right? Some students even sit down and then plan on what they're studying. Okay, that's way too late. You're not going to have a proper understanding of what you actually need to do. Second, if you do random study for just random subjects, like you have no idea what you're actually doing or what you need to be doing, then that's not good either. Start studying after brain rotting, studying up until they don't feel like it, so you don't have any set schedules, set routine. Study for hours and then burn out, so that's like kind of the opposite. You just force yourself to study and then you're just burning out. Or if you're saying you're going to be studying for like 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever, but you don't actually spend that whole time doing effective studying, like you come out of that study period feeling like you've made like zero progress, that's not good. And the final thing is, and I know a lot of students do this, is you cram 1 to 2 days before the exam because you're stressed. Not because you've planned it, not because you know it'll be helpful, but because you're just stressed out, you're overwhelmed, you think you're very behind. That's why you cram. That is not good. All right. So all of these things I'll be showing you how to fix, what to actually do. Now, before I go into this, I want to do some mindset training, right? So you have to actually ask yourself, why do you actually struggle with these previous dot points, right? Is it because you don't have a plan? Is it because you don't know where to start? Is it because you don't know what to do? Or you don't even know how to start or what to study, how to study, right? All of those things are a symptom of these main mindset problems, right? If you don't have an answer, if you don't really know what to even do, how can you possibly expect yourself to do effective studying in an efficient time frame? Do you get what I mean? Ask yourself these questions, see which one you relate to. Majority of the students actually relate to 3 or 4 of them, but really ask yourself this, dig deep so you know exactly what problem you need to solve. Again, with my students that I work with one-on-one, I specifically ask them specific questions to try and see where they're exactly standing at and what the exact problem is so I can solve it. But you watching this video, I want you to actually pause the video now and actually think about what is actually stopping me from excelling. Okay, let's move on. My personal study schedule, I'll admit, wasn't the best. I wasn't the most diligent student. I wasn't the one that went to a lot of tutoring, did a lot of study, came back home and just grinded notes and papers and whatever. I was the kind of student that was able to excel and gain top ranks despite only grinding during the exam period. Now, I'm not kidding you here. I'm not fucking around. Like dead ass, I remember myself being so behind a week before my trials that I had to just fully plan out my exam block so specifically for each subject to make sure I did just enough for me to excel, right? So I guess that's how I learned all these skills, is like I learned them out of necessity. But this is why I'm so passionate about showing you guys exactly how you can do it for yourself, because I believe that it's never too late for an academic comeback. And if you use the time the best you can, trust me, there will be nothing that you can't achieve within the time frame that you have left, right? It's never too late. So first off, how do you actually set yourself apart, right? You got to do things that other students don't. And funnily enough, not many students actually have an exam schedule. Like, you're watching this video because you don't have the exam schedule. Imagine how many other students have this problem, right? They're not even aware of it. At least you're aware of it, right? I'll have examples here, but I'll show you guys a bit later. Actually, no, I'll show you guys one now. So, okay, this is what I had before. This is my HSC schedule, but these are the ones I created for two of my students. I'm not going to include every student that I help here because that'll be just way too much space taken, but you get the point, right? So basically, an exam schedule should be your own personalized exam block schedule. So you take the exam timetable that you have and then lay it out week by week, as you saw below, according to the dates of your exams. So that's very straightforward. You should be able to do that straight up, and you should be already doing that, right? Number two, your syllabus should be fully understood. I say should because not all students have this down, but again, it should be fully understood. If not, that's where we will have to use our time even better and more efficiently to slot stuff in there. Now, I don't know if you guys have been watching my previous videos, but the traffic light method is very important, very useful for this syllabus thing. I focus on just the red dot points because of just how limited time we'd have. But again, go through your syllabus. Every single dot point should be understood. If not, this is where we'll be able to find time where we can actually fully understand the syllabus dot points before actually doing any past papers. Again, there's no point in doing past papers if you don't even understand the content, right? Now, number three, you want to be able to allocate you want to be able to find prioritization. So what I mean by that, you want to be able to, according to how comfortable you are with each subject, you want to be able to prioritize different subjects and see how much time you can allocate for each of them. And by that, you want to be able to focus on only one or two subjects per day. You don't want to do anything more than that because then your brain's just going to be scattered, right? Now, the fourth and final thing of what an exam schedule looks like, you want to be able to apply this general routine to your daily routine that you've made. Now, I know you're like, what daily routine, right? So this is a daily routine, right? Something like this, where it's very segmented hour by hour, activity by activity, and then it's very specific. Now, these are, again, examples of the ones that I've made for my students with my students. But again, so your exam schedule, this thing is a very general structure on kind of what you should be focusing on when your exams are, but then you want to expand on that in your daily routine to show yourself exactly what you're going to be working on. So the next major step is, obviously, you got to organize your damn time. I don't know how many people need to emphasize this to you. It definitely didn't get into my head until I was stressed out, until I was struggling back in year 12. But you got to organize your time. If you don't organize your time, one, you're not going to get anything done. Two, when you are trying to get things done, you don't even know what to do. So because I was able to organize my time, right, I was able to catch up, understand the content, and get enough practice before all my exams. And by that, I don't mean like I was doing like hella past papers, right? I did just enough and I touched on each point just enough for me to excel and actually understand what I was doing. Okay, very quickly, right? This is the pre-exam schedule, right? This is what I call a weekly schedule, whatever. This is the thing that I said you got to expand on to get something that will organize your days out hour by hour. Like, I'll zoom into these, right? So you can take a look at for yourself and try generalize it and apply it to your own. But basically, the pre-exam schedule is very useful because you're able to organize. Let me just show you this one. You're able to organize your time almost hyper specifically, right? As you can see here, there is not a single hour that is not either color-coded or allocated towards time. It's very specific. And as you can see, for every single bit, right, there's not a single place where you're left guessing on what to do. Obviously, knowing exactly what to do is a different thing, and I'll go through that maybe in another video. But obviously, once you figure out what you need to do to improve, to understand content, to practice content, you want to be able to slot that into specific time slots. All right. So obviously, you got to understand the syllabus content first. Again, I don't know how many times I have to emphasize this, but past papers always come after your syllabus dot points. All right. You got to understand the content first and then go into the past papers to practice that understanding and apply it. In those weekly schedules, right, you want to allocate time for subjects of focus each day, syllabus dot points for each day, subject revision for each day. Now, I really want to focus and emphasize on the subjects of focus for each day because as you see down here, there's not a single day where there'll be more than 3 subjects being focused on, right? You don't want to jump around. And 3 is already a lot, right? I don't want you to be focusing on trying to absorb content for like 5 or 6 or all of your different subjects, right? Because that just doesn't work, right? You're just jamming your brain with information. You're almost just trying to feel productive without actually getting any information in, right? And that's what a lot of students actually do. They cram by trying to do so much at the same time. It just doesn't work. You're wasting your time, and at the end of the day, right, nothing actually gets absorbed. All right. Fourth, you want to segment each hour of the day, shown you that now, and you want to ensure that you have effective breaks. So normally what I do and what I advise my students to do, and this is different for everyone, but the general rule of thumb is every single 50 minutes of study, you want to have a 10-minute break. Obviously, unless you're doing past papers or stuff like that, don't take those breaks. But if you're just trying to understand content, revise your notes, add on to your notes, stuff like that, you want to be able to have breaks for you to just, sit down, remove yourself from that study environment and just actually let whatever you've been studying kind of simmer and marinate in your brain. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if that's weird, but that's what you want to be doing. All right. So you want to ensure breaks. Again, normally, general rule of thumb, 50-minute study, 10-minute break. All right. My brother does 30 minutes of study, 10-minute break. So it really depends on student to student, right? My brother's kind of, he struggles to focus, but obviously the longer you do this, it becomes a habit, and then you can start increasing the rate of study and increasing the time you study until you get a break. Right. So with my students, I have calls with them 3 times a week, right? It's a very, very personalized schedule. So within these calls, I actually ask them, what have you been doing? Have you been able to stick on schedule? What have you been finding hard to do? Are you ahead? Are you behind? Whatever. And alter and update the schedule accordingly, right? So the reason why I say this is because you should be doing this for yourself. If you don't have someone like me just asking you these questions, you have to be the one keeping yourself accountable. Okay. So whatever you've been doing, you have to see, am I falling behind? Am I just doing it just for the sake of doing it? Am I actually understanding this stuff? Do I need more time for this subject? Do I need more time for that subject? Ask yourself these questions. Be truthful, be honest to yourself, because at the end of the day, if you don't help yourself, no one else can. All right. So again, these schedules are not set in stone. They're simply just there to keep you on track and keep you productive and help you use your time more efficiently, right? If you're falling behind on something, for example, like for English, right? You're like, shit, like I need to memorize English a bit better or whatever. You need to reallocate time, right? But it's all about being able to use a schedule, reallocate time properly and efficiently. And that just comes with practice, right? I've been doing this since, man, when I was in year 12, like 2021, 2022, right? So I've had a lot of practice with this, which is why I'm able to build out schedules like this and reallocate time and update them so effectively. But you got to start this now. So by the time you get to the HSC, you have no problem doing this for yourself. Okay, sweet. Man, my mouth is dehydrated. So the final thing is build habits. Like if you're going to click away from this video, you can click away now. Like this is not too important, but honestly, habits, as you know, will dictate how your day will go and how your day will feel. And the reason why I say that is if, for example, you wake up and you pick up your phone and start doom scrolling, the rest of the day you're going to be unproductive, right? You're going to be feeling lazy. You're going to be like, what the fuck? Like I just ruined my day, right? So one thing that I really encourage my students to do is to have 3 non-negotiables in the morning. These 3 non-negotiables doesn't have to be too out of the world, man. Like one of my students literally just says, okay, I'm going to wake up and immediately get out of bed and drink water, right? What I do is I immediately get out of bed, pump out 10 push-ups and drink water, right? So you have 3 non-negotiables. So the third one is going to be the same for everyone, right? It's to review today's schedule. You want to review what you need to be doing for that day. So you kind of get into that mindset already, even as soon as you wake up. Now, the rest of these habits are like just for you to track, right? So I build out a full habit tracker for my students. Like literally, you can do this on paper, right? But you want to be able to build habits so each day will feel consistent for you. And the great thing about this is every time you tick something off, and it goes for the same with the routine, every time you tick something off, every time you feel like you've progressed or achieved something, that will trigger dopamine in your brain. You're going to be feeling satisfied. You're going to be feeling confident. You're going to have momentum going into your next day. So every single day is like a build on effect, is like a stack on effect, where if you're successful on the previous day, you'll be successful on the next day. And that's how powerful habits are. But yeah, this is everything, all right? Trust me, if you're able to implement this in your life starting from now, you will succeed, all right? Maybe not in trials, or I don't know how far into trials you are, but trust me, if you're able to do this for yourself, and if you're in like year 10, year 11, watching this video, you are so ahead of the game, all right? But for those in trials, for those with tests coming up, good luck. My DMs are always open. If you like this video, if you found this helpful, I'm not going to say subscribe or give me a like. I don't really give a fuck about that. But chuck it into DM, send me a DM, ask me any questions you want. But yeah, again, my DMs are always open. Good luck and peace out.